recording now. Yeah.
Hey.
Hello. So this is PME or Worries or Matthias or whatever you want to call me. We've talked before, so like if you want, you can just give us a little recap of what we've talked about before, and then we can take it from there
Um,
if you remember.
I mean, we've had a few calls
Mhm.
and some, messages, obviously, mostly about like how I've been feeling,
Mhm.
my depression and anxiety and the recovery from all that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And you told me you have good news today. So what's been going on?
yeah. So um, 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 I basically a couple weeks ago found a girl at my school,
Mhm.
who I haven't really taken like note of before, really. Um, and she was kind of like a mystery girl to me, at least, right?
Mhm.
Like, haven't seen her around. And I, I, well, basically 2 weeks ago, I went and actually talked to her
Mhm.
at one of the like little study areas in our school or whatever. And basically, at first, she was like, "What the fuck?" Didn't say that, but body language and
Yeah. Yeah.
shit. Like cause no one does that shit.
Mhm.
Like we're fucking 17, 18, 19 year olds, like no one just goes and talks to others. It's weird.
It's weird and rare. Yeah.
But so basically I asked like, you know, uh are you busy with anything? Like I don't want to bother you, and like how are you and so on. And yeah. um I mean, we aren't together anything or
Mhm.
together or anything, but basically it's been going good.
That's good.
And it gives me a little bit of like, I guess, hope.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean it's like it's very good to even if it's not like if it doesn't work out into a date then whatever like having positive experiences with women is a pretty good thing in general.
Yeah.
So and it helps you build the confidence. Is like if it doesn't end up being her, then you have the confidence to go ask another person.
Yeah, and like basically there is a possibility that
Mm-hmm.
people will tolerate my ass, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean
you know?
it helps a lot to be shown tolerance for sure, especially when you're depressed. I can imagine that helped a lot.
Yeah. So like basically pretty early on I got her number. I went to the nearby gas station with her to
Mm-hmm.
get something to eat, something to drink, whatever. And um, 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 like a week after meeting, we spent like 4 hours one day. So
Mm-hmm.
that that's something.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
sounds like a
uh,
good start. Yeah.
yeah, and we have some plans for the summer as well, like to maybe go see a movie, get some ice cream on a nice summer day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
lovely stuff.
it was a good development. Yeah, for sure. How has life been in general besides that?
um Well, lately it has been a lot of thinking about her,
For sure.
naturally,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
a lot of like stress about undone school shit
Mm.
and upcoming exams and shit. So,
Yeah. When are your exams this year?
uh, I mean, next week
Ooh, okay.
they're gonna start. So,
How many exams do you have this year?
well, I mean, they're like every couple months.
Oh,
They
okay.
like they are basically just course exams.
Mhm.
Nothing nothing larger than life.
Nothing super.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is the
No,
make it or break it exams.
no, 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 no. Just some course shit,
Yeah. Okay.
like mandatory course shit
Mhm.
and stuff that I'm gonna, do the final exam on at one point.
Yeah. I mean
But yeah,
that's. I mean it's good to be prepared, I guess. But
yeah. It's just I stress about it way too much
yeah,
every
I can
time.
understand, especially if you feel like you're falling behind on your coursework.
Yeah, and like I have some courses that are like basically I still need to complete them. Like
Mhm.
I went to them earlier this year,
Mhm.
and last year's fucking autumn, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I need to do that shit. So
Just get it over with. It's the sooner it's done, the sooner you can focus on something else.
yeah, sure, for sure.
I mean that's. I mean it's good to hear you're doing well. Like you do sound like you're. I like tone of voice. You sound a lot more like generally positive than you did last time we talked. So that's good to hear.
Yeah. Um. Well, like I still have a lot to think about, right?
Yeah, of course.
And get a lot of anxiety from that. But
Mhm.
I've told others already that I think it's better that I'm stressing about girl shit, rather than worrying about wanting to die.
Yeah, I was gonna say like worrying
So
about life in general is
yeah, like
relationship drama is probably a little more manageable.
yeah, and like I'm not saying that I'm just gonna fucking think about dying again if the girl shit
No,
doesn't
no.
work out.
I,
But like I've in the past 2 or 3 months I've gone and talked to a lot of girls,
mhm.
like just randomly, hey, what's up and stuff.
Yeah, like
I
it's building that confidence. That's a really big part. Like it's a bit of
Yeah,
a meme word on the internet these days. Incels. It's just if you get into the mindset where it's hard to talk to women, it's very easy to stay in that mindset. So I'm glad to hear that
yeah,
you've like managed to get beyond that.
like I guess it's not really being an incel. It's mostly being like just really passive.
Mhm.
Like you know, I'd say a true incel would be someone who has tried, like actually actively tried for years.
Yeah, and then actively rejects like contact with women in the end. At that point,
But like, if you haven't even tried, then what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
that's a fair point.
but yeah, basically, for a long ass while, I was really passive with everything
Mhm.
in life, and slowly getting that confidence to actually do shit.
Yeah, I mean that's it's a great development. I can say all that. I experienced something similar when I started like getting slowly getting better again. I don't know if you're familiar with the term anhedonia.
I'm not.
It's like a term for like normally when obviously when you have a problem, you get this natural drive to want to fix it. It's like if you experience, well, I'm very sad lately, so I'm gonna try to do
Mm.
something about it. Anhedonia is the experience of going like, well, why would I want to do something about this problem? I'm not worth the attention it would need to fix this.
Yo, that's me.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. That's a very common symptom of depression.
uh,
It sucks so bad.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're doing better in that front at least. It sounds like you're doing overall good, making progress, meeting new people.
yeah,
I mean, that's the cornerstone of getting better. Is like building new social context and meeting new people and like even something that's if you have old friends, just like meeting them in a new context that you're not used to can be really helpful.
yeah. Like basically trying to build old relationships back
Mm-hmm.
and basically update them,
Yeah, and you.
make it so that you actually know what's going on and
Mm-hmm.
they know what's going on with you, and
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're doing good, actually. That's great to hear.
Slowly, slowly.
Yeah, getting there bit by bit. Progress is slow,
Yeah,
but it's constant. That's the thing to keep in mind.
yeah. It just really, really doesn't feel constant at the start. Like
Yeah, it's
it's
gonna be
really,
really slow at first.
yeah. Like fucking hell, is it slow?
hmm
But like at the same time, I'd say um like if were going through that shit again,
hmm
I'd just say that yeah, it takes time, but like time is exactly what I have
hmm
right now.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck am I complaining about? Like I have the time to do shit
hmm
about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the frame of mind now where you've experienced before, so it's probably going to be easier to deal with it if it happens again. That's
Yeah.
because
That,
you figure out a mindset where you can actually work out of it. That's really good.
yeah, and like that's actually one of the things earlier on that one of my friends I think brought to my attention is like, at least you're not going through it at like 40 or 50 or whatever,
hmm
like a proper midlife crisis.
Yeah, yeah,
Because then, you might not know how to deal with it and you have actual responsibility.
yeah.
Like, uh, that must suck.
It
Must suck.
probably does. I've talked with a few people who are like, in their own words, going through a midlife crisis. It's really difficult
Yeah.
because, especially for them, it's just a total like loss of faith in anything. It's like
Yeah.
you start believing in why do I even go to work? Just, I mean, you go to work to feed your family, I guess. Yeah, but why do I have a family? I don't know. It's a lot of questions to suddenly have to answer.
Yeah, and basically, I'm going through it now
hmm
at a younger age, but uh, it's rough
hmm
going through it at all.
Yeah, I mean, and
But
I don't know if I would say luckily, but like not everyone ends up going through it. But
yeah,
so it can be hard to find support for it as well.
yeah, but you do kind of need to be active and be open and be like, um, you know, a yes man kind of deal.
hmm
Like someone suggests something, like I have this friend you could talk to, like yes,
Yeah,
uh,
like just try it. It doesn't
like
matter if like you're super cynical and you're saying it's not gonna work. Just try it.
yeah, and like what I've done is I have talked to a shit ton of people,
hmm
like um, basically I just enjoy talking, and also it helps my brain know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Like if you have to put it into words, it's basically active thinking, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why a lot of
So
people keep diaries. It's to help them basically like comprehend what's going on.
yeah, but at the same time, I don't really like diaries
Yeah.
because I feel like a fucking maniac.
I mean,
I
you got
don't
a
know.
14-year-old schoolgirl, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, or that. I don't know. It's just
Yeah, I mean, it's a preference thing. Some people do just keep
yeah,
a diary.
yeah, of course. But personally, I don't find it interesting for
hmm
myself. Like it's not as interesting as actually talking to someone about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But hmm, yeah, about the girl, I suppose.
Yeah, we can keep going in that direction, yeah.
um, it's fascinating, like how like just perfect it seems,
hmm
like to the point where I'm cynical about it
Yeah,
even.
yeah, you start, like, your anxiety starts to bite back and say, this can't
Like
possibly be real.
there's something wrong.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
At some point, she's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I'm transsexual or some shit," and I'm
Yeah, yeah,
like,
like,
"Oh, well,
oh,
that's what was."
I'm actually a spy and I'm here to, like, take your organs. Bye.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like she's a spy from fucking Slovenia
Yeah,
and
yeah. It's
trying
like,
to.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing with anxiety. It's you're gonna like figure out the weirdest
Oh,
way possible. So it's just like fall over your own legs when you get happy because you're gonna
yeah,
have at the back of your mind, I'm not deserving of this, so this can't possibly be real.
yeah. But I have asked her a lot of things already. Like, I can't really give examples, but
No,
I
no, of
have
course.
asked a shit ton of things.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean,
thus far, she hasn't, gotten afraid.
she hasn't
And
shown you her her secret spy license or anything.
um, I don't think she even has any
No,
like proper secrets though.
no. I mean, some people are just like that,
Yeah, but
which is very,
most,
very refreshing if you're an anxious person.
yeah, and I mean we are still young. There
Hmm.
aren't many many secrets to be had. But I suppose I've asked like a lot of things like, do you fucking hate my ass and
Hmm.
um you know philosophical shit as well. And like I said, she hasn't jumped out the window screaming, so
Yeah, I mean,
um
it's could be
that's
worse. I mean, it seems
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's doing okay.
Yeah, she seems, calm and thoughtful and smart and shit. So
Hmm.
that's good. Like we haven't exactly had awkward silences
Hmm.
because like I mean we've had silences but they aren't awkward, It's
Yeah.
fucking great. I love it. I mean, of course, at the start, I'm like a naturally anxious person, I suppose. So obviously, I'm like fucking shaking in my boots.
Hmm.
But but nothing time can't fix, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like time and reassurance, and just like, it's good that you ask her, like, do you actually like, if your anxiety is like preying on you, saying like she probably hates me. It's very good that you ask her about that stuff
yeah,
because that's the reassurance you need. And if you get it, then you've seen that it works itself out. You have like, so if she tells you no, I don't actually hate you, then you have the means to say, well, maybe my anxiety is just being a dick today.
yeah, and like like I said, we've known each other for like a couple weeks, and I've
Hmm.
already asked about like, um, her policy on drugs and her like religion and shit like that. Like,
Hmm.
we're going all in, all right?
Yeah, I mean it's good. I mean it's good stuff to know if it's like a close friend or someone you want to date. So.
Yeah, and like we are on the same page on both of those,
Hmm.
so it's really good in terms of knowing where they stand on these things because they are uh important in terms of your values and shit.
Yeah, for
So
sure. Well, damn. Sounds like you've been doing a lot better since last time we talked. That's good. I mean, that's pretty great to hear, to be honest. Like, normally when I get these like updates, it's usually in a text message, so it's pretty great to hear it in voice too.
yeah, is it usually like I'm fine, see you later, alligator?
No, it's usually pretty detailed.
uh,
Like, people will send me. I sometimes get like these really long emails of like an update, and they because they figure out they've like noticed. Oh wait, I sent this guy a message 2 years ago. I just kind of want
mm,
to build from there and explain like what's happened since then. And oftentimes it's actually very interesting to hear what's been going on. Like I want to say
yeah,
95% of cases, people eventually get better in the sense that either they are able to get the help that they need, or they're able to like if it's an abuse situation, they're able to escape the abusive situation either because of something I've helped them realize, or I've put them in contact with social services, or there's a lot of like little stories like that. It's great to hear still.
yeah.
But I mean, it's great that you're doing good too. Like we've talked like I think 3 times by now before today,
Um, 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 um,
2 or 3 times.
Seems like 2 calls
Yeah. Okay.
from what I can see.
I mean, like, you're probably still like you sound like you're still anxious. You're probably still. Would you say you're still depressed? Like to a certain extent.
Uh, it's hard to say.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, it's hard to figure out what normal is after you've been depressed.
yeah, basically. But been having like good days and
Hmm.
like shit where I basically just think about how I'm feeling at the moment, and I'm like, wait, is this what people normally feel like? Like
Hmm.
just fine, like holy. uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
like fine and great and dandy and all that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a weird thing if you've been depressed. Just realizing that most people, for the most part, just kind of feel like that all the time. Not necessarily happy, but just content, which is
Yeah, just like chilling. What up?
yeah, just having a decent day. It's not special or anything. Just you're doing okay today.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah, especially if you're like used to being depressed for sure.
Yeah, I'm like used to having my eyes fucking half closed because
Hmm.
I just can't be arsed.
Mm.
And like just fucking being like, yeah, why bother? Uh, so it's all new and shit.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep going in this direction, it sounds like it's gonna keep getting better bit by bit. You'll
Yeah,
eventually get to a point where you have fewer bad days, but it sounds like you're pretty well equipped for like when you get the bad days, what to do about them.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm well equipped. I think I just can tell myself that um, you know, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing about dealing with a bad day. It's just like figuring out, well, okay, what do I need to get through today, and then just there's gonna be a new day tomorrow. So how do we make sure I get there?
Yeah,
I think a lot of dealing with bad days is basically just figuring out whatever you need to keep going until tomorrow.
I suppose, yeah.
And then
Um,
it's figuring out how to make use of those good days so you make sure you get something out of your time.
yeah, it just I feel like I'm, really unproductive still,
Hmm.
which is annoying.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like,
Because I wish I could just fucking, take a day and be like, oh yeah, I'll just smash, a couple projects and shit.
hmm.
Like, nah.
Yeah, I mean that's a discipline thing. That's something you've definitely need. Like that's something that needs training. That's the only way to
Yeah,
get there.
I know it's just fucking awfully hard when I haven't trusted myself
Hmm.
years. Um, so yeah, being a perfectionist, um, in some sense, and also not trusting your abilities in some sense,
Yep,
it's really
that's a really bad
awful.
combo. It's a toxic
It's
combo.
really awful.
Yeah, because even
It's
if you do like the best of everyone in your like immediate area, you're still not good enough because there's 100% of someone doing it way better than you.
yeah, you're still garbage,
Yeah.
and it's like, um, when you have some coursework that's like, what do you think about fucking tomatoes or whatever?
Hmm.
Could be any like political, any fucking subject. Anyway, let's take tomatoes, cause fuck you. But like, well, what do you think about tomatoes? Well, I'm a fucking 18-year-old. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what do I think about tomatoes? Like, why does anyone care? Why would anyone care to even
Hmm.
fucking read this shit? And then when I write it, I'm like, well, that's nah, it's garbage.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
it's like, well, what do they want from me? Like, do they want me to like have the expertise of like someone who has studied tomatoes for 30 years?
Hmm.
Because I have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, figuring out what teachers expect of you is like an ongoing process, and you're never gonna have an answer 100% because different teachers and different courses will have different requirements. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're just kind of, making a guess and hoping for the best.
And like the thing is, usually they don't even require much at this point,
Hmm.
which annoys me just the same. Because I'm like, I need something more like challenging.
Hmm.
Fucking annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I guess like if you can get to a point where like the challenge is, challenging yourself to figure out, well, why do people care about tomatoes? And then taking it
Yeah,
from there to saying like, well, what about some people who really do care about tomatoes? What do they have to say about the topic?
yeah. And like I guess I just took tomatoes because it came into mind, but
Mm.
like it can really be anything, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like there are so many
There
subjects.
and some of them just seem like I get the why does anyone care about this sometimes too.
Mm.
It seems like such a non-issue. For example, it's like why would you care about
Yeah,
the depth of footprints from a dinosaur you know in
or like
Greenland for like a million years ago? Why do you care?
sometimes it's like, why does anyone care?
Hmm.
But then it's like it's such a complex topic, like I don't know, microplastic in the ocean,
Yeah.
that like, why does anyone care about my personal
Oh
opinion
yeah,
about this
that's
shit?
true too.
Like, who the fuck cares? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Hmm.
why the fuck would anyone care to read this?
Yeah.
Like, what? Why bother?
Hmm.
But then at the same time, it's like it needs to be perfect or nothing.
Yeah.
So, uh,
And nobody cares, but it has to be the best thing you've ever made.
yeah, it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I guess it's gonna take a lot of work,
Yeah.
but
I mean, you're never like there. You're never gonna reach a stage where you're like, especially if you have the perfectionist mindset, you're never gonna be like 100% perfect. Just not like catching yourself having those thoughts of it has to be perfect. It's just kind of
yeah,
figuring out how to manage that and like figuring out how to tell yourself this is a, this is a coursework about microplastic in the ocean, and I know maybe one or like 0.1% of what there is to know about it. So it's probably not going to be the best thing in the world, but you know what? I'm going to write it and get it over with.
yeah. Microplastic bad.
Woo.
Woo wee.
Wowie. Well
uh,
done. Now put a source
uh,
to it, and then that's great.
Wikipedia. Boom. Microplastic gathers into humans through animals and the eating of other animals, and boom.
Damn. You're already like well ahead of me there. That's
For real.
no, I know a little bit about microplastic. I mean, I studied like my coursework's been primarily in like uh marketing and business development stuff. So I
Mm,
know a lot about psychology and like business psychology, but I know
yeah.
very very little about physics and chemistry beyond what's like basically necessary.
Yeah, well, microplastics in the ocean is more of a biology problem.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I
fair.
guess like since fish eat it and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, I suppose geography in terms of like which countries pollute and
Hmm.
like, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway.
Well, damn, that's. I mean, it's great to hear you're doing good. To be honest, like I haven't heard from you in a while. When's the last time we called?
Uh 3 months ago, I think.
No, it's been a little while. I mean, that's a lot of development in 3 months then, because you're sounding a lot better than you were 3 months ago.
Yeah, well, 3 months ago I think is when I started to talk to people, like
Hmm.
the girls and shit.
Yeah, I think you remember. I
Um
remember you saying something like that. You like just started out trying to talk to people.
yeah, like
I can't remember
I
if you said it was
can't.
going well, but you tried.
Let me see. Yeah, well, one of the first ones was like in early March,
Mm-hmm.
and we called a month before that. So
Yeah.
I can't remember right now, like what we talked about then. But
I'm pretty sure it's like you're being depressed and not really having anything to do, like any way to go about it. It sounds like you've kind of gradually figured out a way to, you know, not necessarily cure yourself, but just like figure out, well, okay, this is my situation. What do I do about it?
yeah, well, I've had therapy for twice a week for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just actually toned it down a bit to one time a week,
Mm-hmm.
and daily medicine shit. So
Are you on antidepressants or
yeah,
yeah? Do you think it find it
but
helps?
I'm I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Like I know that it doesn't have like big ass side effects, but
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to say how much the antidepressants have helped.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say like just therapy and talking to people has helped a shit ton in terms of like figuring shit out,
Mm-hmm.
and also like time heals
Yeah.
in a weird way. Like basically what I was doing before is being really passive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And waiting, and nothing happens, obviously. But slowly you start getting more active, and when you're active, you actually let time do its thing.
Yeah. Like.
Like every single situation has a little bit of chance in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a chance that this girl is the one or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you don't even take the chance, then why bother?
Yeah. I mean, it's life is like just if you want to see it that way, life is just like an endless series of taking like looking at a risk and saying, what's the chance that this works? Well, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it and see if it works.
Like I don't think you can change the like probability too much, but what you can do is just uh change it to you know the best it can be at the moment,
Yeah,
and
you can make the best of the situation.
and basically keep trying
Mm-hmm.
and learn learn from that shit.
For sure.
But I know it's easier said than done.
Oh yeah,
So
but I mean that's like common theme in mental health stuff. It's a lot easier to give advice than it is to like
yeah,
follow it. I mean, it's not like we've cured depression just because someone figured out how depression works.
yeah,
It's getting
true.
people to follow the advice and getting people to like take medicine if that's what they need, and getting people to, like into therapy and getting the right kind of therapy and
Like I think a big problem is just people not knowing if what they're feeling is alright, like if it's normal or
yeah, like that's a big thing I encounter is like a lot of question. Like I think the most common question I get is like, "Am I normal? Like, is this thing I'm experiencing is that normal? Is it normal to like miss a girl that you've had a crush on after she turned you down? Yeah, that's pretty normal. Okay, is it normal that I feel like I can't get out of bed in the morning? I mean, it kind of depends on the why of how you can't get out of bed, but overall, yeah, that's very common too. Like the human experience is shared in the sense that like we go through a lot of the same stuff, even if it's not exactly the same.
yeah.
So just getting the
It's
understanding that it's normal is probably a really good help for people.
yeah, and like the fact that getting help doesn't make you weak or
Hmm.
anything. I think that's a big one, maybe.
Yeah,
Just
especially
like
for guys. That's I've
yeah,
encountered that a lot. People saying
yeah,
I don't want to seek help because I don't want to seem weak. It's just like everyone needs help sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah. It's like they take it as like a personal sign of weakness.
Hmm.
But like I suppose the real strength would be to beat that like thought and actually get the help that you need.
Yeah, I mean it's like there's always this thing to keep in mind is like nobody really makes it on their own. Everyone's like a product of their family and their friends and figuring out the world
Yeah.
around them and the help they've gotten on the way to wherever they're going. Like if you're only on your own, you'll be living in a forest somewhere, surviving off whatever you can hunt, maybe. But you weren't the person who invented the spear, so you're leaning on whoever invented the spear as well. You can't be 100% self-reliant. That's just not realistic.
Yeah.
Well, damn. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? It sounds like we've been kind of all over topics-wise.
Um. I mean, I don't know. I like going all over.
Yeah, of course.
it's it's more fun that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you're talking about uh tomatoes all the time. You
Talking
know.
about tomatoes and you have no idea what tomatoes are even for and why it's important. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you have so many topics. Why bother just going over one? You
Mm-hmm.
know. But I I don't know. I guess blaming, like who do you blame for your situation? Like yourself, your surroundings, your parents?
Uh,
Ooh,
I'm gonna take the cop out answer here and say I generally don't care about blame ultimately
fair.
because like I got into that mindset a long time ago where I blamed myself for everything, and
Mm-hmm.
then eventually I got into the mindset where I blamed everyone else, and I realized in the process of doing that it's like neither of those things really got me anywhere because blaming it on myself just made me feel like shit and depressed, and blaming
Mm-hmm.
it on everyone else just made me turn on the people I could probably lean on for support if I needed it. So ultimately what I've like tried to move towards is like the idea of whose fault this doesn't matter so much as how to fix it. Like it's say if I'm depressed, for example, it doesn't really matter why I'm depressed unless it's important to figuring out how can I get better about it.
Yeah.
So like
Well,
if it's a situation where what is at fault is important, then I'll obviously keep it in mind, but otherwise I don't really care.
yeah. Well, I'm thinking like, um, stuff like why am I depressed, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of crucial in terms of actually, uh, fixing it, I
Yeah,
suppose.
that makes
Um,
sense.
it's mostly, from thinking for a minute now. Oof, I know, a
It's a
lot of
long
brain
think.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'd say like if you're blaming yourself, you aren't being fair to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're blaming everyone else, then you're probably not looking at yourself enough.
Yeah.
like, like basically, it's not black and white.
Mm-hmm. Especially with
And
depression, it's a mix of
yeah,
everything.
yeah, definitely. Like it's fucking hard, but
Mm-hmm.
um, trying to overcome those things like slowly but surely is what finally gets you out of that shit.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm curious. Like you asked me that question. What is your answer to it?
Like who do I blame for
Yeah.
whatever? Huh. Well, for a long time, I think I'd say I had blamed myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also a lot of it I blamed on like just total ignorance in terms of like, I don't know why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just this
It just is this way basically.
yeah, it just is like
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've tried to, basically not blame others because that doesn't get me anywhere.
Hmm. Yeah, especially if you
And
recognize it's like it, if they're not the source of my depression, so why should I blame them?
yeah, and I don't think I've ever had like um a full on like, I hate everybody.
Hmm.
Like for all that I can remember, I've always, you know, loved other people, loved talking to them and shit, but always just thought that I'm complete garbage.
Hmm.
Um it's it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if there was an easy answer, we'd have found it by now. So
Yeah.
it's obviously going to be a combination of things.
Yeah, for sure.
And even more like important thing to keep in mind is that it can be different for different people too.
Yeah,
Like depression is not the same for everyone.
like there are different reasons for it, and
Hmm.
like basically for some people it might be childhood trauma or,
Yeah.
you know, a really fucked up past or something.
Yeah, or like for some people they can just be uh, some for some people there's like I think it's pretty well documented by now. There's a genetic component in depression for some people. Like
Mm.
they just don't produce the it's not endorphin, but like the drugs they need, their brain needs to keep going normally.
Yeah, like dopamine, serotonin, whatever.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
so it's like it can be a lot of different things for different people.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously I can't be sure, I can't be certain,
Hmm.
but I'm guessing that there is some kind of like genetic shit for my own shit,
Maybe.
or like, it's not necessarily, I have depression because of that. It's just
Mm.
that
At least you're
i'm i'm
more
I'm
likely to
more
get it.
likely,
Yeah.
yeah. But like even then you could take that, oh, that means you're, you know weak, you're a pussy.
Mm.
Like, other people wouldn't get depressed, but for some reason you are. So what the fuck? Like, but it's not like that. I don't think.
No, I mean, like it's not even anything. If it's not anything you can control, it's not really anything you. It would be fair to say you're weak for being. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
It's like saying you're born with cerebral palsy, therefore you're weak. It doesn't really make sense.
yeah. Hmm.
I guess it means like I guess it depends on how you define weak, but like in the sense that it's something to be ashamed of, that's definitely not true. Like it's not. It's whatever. It's your life situation. You gotta figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah. For a long as while I was actually kind of scared of therapy in terms of like or hesitant about it,
Hmm.
maybe anxious about it, um in terms of like, you know when is my therapist just gonna say that, it's all my fault, and
Yeah, yeah. When is your
like,
therapist gonna give up on you?
not necessarily, but like, just say that, get your shit together,
Mm. Yeah. Okay.
like, basically, like, the harsh truth or
Hmm.
whatever, which
I mean, I'm guessing that
is
hasn't arrived. Like, it's not
yeah,
something a therapist would normally say.
yeah, it hasn't arrived. I'm still a little bit like on the edge in terms of like, that at some point he's just gonna say that.
Hmm. Yeah, of course,
Um,
that's the
I, I
anxiety.
I need to get my shit together and stop being a bitch
Hmm.
or whatever. Like,
That's the anxiety. I get
fuck.
that.
Yeah. Maybe I should talk about that with my therapist. Actually.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if you wanna, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important for him to know too, like
Yeah, for sure.
because it's something that's preventing you from like potentially taking in whatever advice he's giving. So you might need to like present it a different way.
Uh, yeah, true. I can't say that's the case, but that is
Hmm.
something that could be the case, you know?
And I'm not a therapist either, but
Yeah.
it's like I know it's something a therapist would want to know about probably because I've talked to a few therapists like as part of this as well in the past.
Hmm. Fair. In what context, if I may ask? Like,
It's usually just a curiosity context for them. It's like figuring out, well, this is my work normally, so like, what if the stuff I experience has like any cadence with what they experience in their work, and oftentimes
mm,
we figure out, yeah, it's pretty similar. If anything, is like it's easier for them to be honest with me because I'm not an authority figure. Like I'm not
yeah.
someone who's trying to cure them or anything. I'm kind of there and listening.
And also, you don't have any like, you know, physical contact. You
Yeah,
don't have any,
yeah. I don't have any personal information on you, and
yeah, you don't have any like monetary gain to be had,
mhm.
you know? Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like,
Yeah,
sell to some fucking ad company that's
yeah. I'm just gonna pull up
going out
like
with a girl, like,
I'm gonna sell to the ad company like the data of my 100 viewers on YouTube. Oh no.
yes, yes, holy fuck, dude. Like
You've spoiled me completely. You figured out my bluff. I'm gonna just disappear off the internet now.
uh, yeah, get fucked, dude.
Yeah, it's
Exposed,
exposed
Matthias.
video
Fucking.
right there. I'm gonna go
Uh,
viral on YouTube with that. Don't worry.
fuck yeah, dude. PM me your worries. More like scam
More like
your
scam
ass.
me your worries.
Give me your ad money.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's okay. You're gonna blackmail me for my ad money.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
YouTube
give me
drama is just weird.
50% and I won't expose your
I'll
ass.
consider it.
50% of zero. Boom. I'm filthy rich now, bitch ass.
Damn,
Anyway,
you got all
but
that
yeah,
YouTube drama money.
yeah. What should I do with my new gain zero?
You can add it to your bank account.
$0 dues, right?
Woo! Yeah,
Wee woo.
it's a big reward.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like you're overall doing pretty good.
Yep.
Like it seems like you, even in general, just have a fairly positive approach to things now compared to earlier.
Um. Hard to say. I'm still a cynical
Mm.
bastard. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm when I say positive in that context, I mean like you have a context of I can figure it. Like this might not necessarily be something that I can fix, but I can at least figure out how it works if I can't fix it. Seems like that's your approach at the moment.
Yeah. A lot of what I'd say has helped. The sentences are hard, but
Yeah.
a lot of it has been just learning about myself, I suppose.
Hmm.
Like am I a good person? Am I nice? Am I, you know, likable? Or do people just fucking hate my ass,
Hmm.
you know? Um, and like, I guess doing a good old Mythbusters on that shit and talking to people is really eye opening in a way.
Yeah.
Like you basically slowly tell your brain that you're fine.
Yeah,
Cause
you're not as big of a piece of shit as you think you are.
yeah,
That's
like you aren't the concentration of all evil.
yeah. You are literally the Antichrist. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
but
there's like you start to build from that.
yeah, and like you basically gotta realize that you know it's gonna take time.
Hmm.
Again, you have the time, and you gotta realize again that the problem didn't happen like this shit.
Yeah.
Like it took time to develop as
Hmm.
well. So of course it's gonna take time to fix it.
Hmm.
Like if you paint a whole house fucking red and you're like, wait, that looks like ass,
Yeah,
then
you can't just throw a bucket of paint at it and that's fixed.
yeah, you can't just go to the fucking time machine and be like, dirty dirty dirty, I'll fix the paint bucket to fucking gray or
Hmm.
whatever. Like, no, 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 dude, you gotta wait for it to dry. You gotta wait for a nice day and paint it again.
Yeah.
Hey, and then it looks like ass again.
Well, you know what?
But
You can keep painting it over and over until you find the color you would like.
yes, perfect. Or at some point you just gotta realize that um, it's fine the way it is, and
Hmm.
you need to focus on other things as well.
What do you mean I
Like,
can't spend my life painting my house?
are you saying that I shouldn't just focus on tomatoes? Fuck you.
Yeah, what like there's a lot of different tomatoes. I'm sure there's people out there who live on being tomato experts.
Yeah, they just work on like studying the genes of different tomato species and like how to make the perfect tomato.
Yep, that's their whole
Boom.
life.
Yes. My life work, tomatoes. You know?
Yeah,
Some people, talk about Stephen Hawking and whatever, like Hawking radiation. Who the fuck cares? I have a
I'm.
fucking tomato species
Yeah,
named after me, so fuck you.
yeah. I mean that's the thing to keep in mind with people who, for scientists, like on the surface, a lot of their work just seems really dry and boring. But like it's because it's super interesting to them. Like they get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
It must be the greatest thing ever to just get to like the guy who figured out a. Yeah, I think it's a protein that's named after Sonic the Hedgehog, for example. That must have been the most awesome thing ever. Just like you discover the thing and you get to name it. What's the name you
Oh.
get for? I think it's a protein that helps you move faster or whatever. And he just named it Sonic as something. It's the greatest thing ever.
Holy. Yeah, that must be like, his little or her little, accomplishment.
Yeah.
Or days.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was a guy. I'm not sure. I just
Yeah.
remember reading the article about it. I howled with laughter because that's pretty great. But yeah, is there like anything else you had in mind? Because I kind of need to go in a little bit.
Um, what's in a little bit? So I know.
It's like in 15 minutes.
Not fair. Yeah. I won't keep you for longer.
No, okay. All right,
Um,
man. Thank you for your time. It's been really great to like catch up with you again.
well, yeah. I guess I do have one thing, but it's
Yeah.
not gonna take 15 minutes.
No, it's okay. Go for it.
So that's uh maybe you could do like thing where you brand this as a podcast, maybe. I,
You're
I
not the
don't know.
first one to suggest that, and I even
Ah,
got a really good name for it. Someone just
oh,
pitched me a name for it earlier. A WorryCast. I kind of like that. It's
wait, WorryCast.
a WorryCast
Oh,
based on my username.
WorryCast.
Yeah, because
Hmm.
it's easy to Google and nobody else like uses that name for anything. So I might just go do that.
Yeah, like basically it would make the um marketing it sounds wrong of it
Yeah,
easier.
it's easier to
There's
find
like
it for sure.
yeah, people will actually find it. So and I suppose make sure to use proper tags and shit for it
Yeah, I'm
on the
gonna upload it in
YouTubes.
the comedy section. Don't worry.
Yeah, comedy and tag it fucking Logan Paul and whatever like.
Yeah, yeah.
kid friendly and
And I will make sure like my thumbnail has a big red circle on it and the weird text, and
yeah,
I gotta do all the YouTube tricks.
yeah. Remember to have one boob and a cat.
Ooh, yeah. Not two boobs,
Just
just one boob.
yeah, just one boob. We don't have we don't want to overdo it, you know.
Oh, that's true.
One boob and a cat. Maybe the cat could be on the boob
Ooh,
with a
that's
red
good.
circle around it,
That's good.
and then you have like a red arrow pointing at text that says 100% outplayed or whatever. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Worries destroys man's perception of reality, just in all caps. uh, YouTube, it's like so predictable with YouTube titles, and it's so weird.
Danish little twat like destroys.
Yeah,
Man.
it's
Uh,
gonna be, it's gonna going in my cringe compilation and everything. Don't worry about it.
yes.
Oh yeah, one last thing. Like, is there
Hmm?
something I can call you in, like the video title and name, or I can go by your Discord name if you want?
Uh, yeah, you can just go with Discord.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, um, I I do have a YouTube of the same name and shit, but I don't think people are gonna like search it much.
You know
So,
what? I'll credit you in the video. How's that sound?
hmm?
I'll credit your YouTube channel in the video, like in
Nah,
the description.
you don't need to,
Oh,
cause
okay.
I'm not gonna like start uploading it on
Oh,
it
okay.
more. I I tried it for a bit, but I think I'm just gonna focus on other shit.
Mhm.
I'll leave the videos off because you know apathy, but and like if somebody finds them even like ironically funny, then that's good enough.
Yeah, that's a little entertainment for someone else.
Yeah, you know.
Well, all right. It's been great to talk to you again. I mean, we can catch up again sometime if you'd like.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be like I guess a guest on the WorryCast at some
You'll
again.
be back on the WorryCast, yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot for like talking. It's interesting to hear from a repeat caller,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
keep me up to speed if you want. And I wish you all the best with your like, not girlfriend, but girlfriend,
Yeah,
and hope things work out
hopefully
for you.
girlfriend at some
Yeah.
point. Anyway, see ya.
Yeah. Take care. Bye bye.